planning on moving to New Zealand or are just curious how much it costs to live here, then this is the video for you. At the end of this video, you're going to be able to answer the question, how much should I get paid? How much will it cost for me to live comfortably with my family? Okay, this is how we're going to do it. We're going to use Auckland as an example. Number one, because Auckland is where I live, and number two, because I believe Auckland is one of the most expensive cities to live in if you're living in New Zealand. We're going to play out a scenario here for a family so that we are able to do a full budget breakdown, of course, of how much this family requires for them to go month by month. Okay, let's do their budget breakdown for their month. Before we do that, let's look at how much are these people bringing in, how much is this couple bringing in. And for the purposes of this video, partner number one is going to be the main breadwinner, and partner number one is bringing in $33 an hour. That's what they are earning, and they are working full-time, so 40 hours per week. Okay, so if you're not familiar, in New Zealand, almost everything usually run on pay weekly cycles. So your rentals or anything like that, you usually pay it per week, with an exception of a few items. And that also means that most people do get paid per week or fortnightly. For this video, we say partner number one is earning $33 an hour. So if you're not familiar, previously INZ had what they called a median wage. This was the amount that was specifically stipulated to be earned at a minimum for certain visa applications, the median wage. But I think that has been phased out from the 10th of March 2025. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one. Yeah, so since the median wage was $31.60, I thought it would be good for this video to just use $33 an hour as an example for partner number one. And then partner number two is going to be earning a minimum wage. So the minimum wage for New Zealand is $23.50. For the purposes of this video, we are only going to deduct ACC and tax and see how much we're working with per month. So for partner number one, who is earning $33 an hour, they are going to have a net salary per month of $4,575. And then partner number two, who is at a minimum wage, and both partners are working full-time, 40 hours a week. The second partner is going to bring in $3,429. So that's a rounded figure of $8,000 per month, 8,000 New Zealand dollars per month. Let's do the budget breakdown now. The first thing that you're going to worry about is rentals. And this is probably going to be the most, it's going to take up the major chunk of this budget. For most people, it's the rentals. So we are assuming that this family is renting. They are coming to New Zealand and they haven't bought a house yet, so they are paying their rentals. And for a family of 4 with 2 children, we're going to assume they are going to choose a two-bedroom house in Auckland. And yeah, the prices do vary depending on where you live. If you choose to live in the city center, obviously prices are going to be higher up, but the further you move away from the city, your rentals are going to be a little bit much more affordable, or let's say a little bit more value for money. So let's say this couple are not living in the city center, and the average cost for rentals to secure a 2-bedroom house at the moment is going to be $600 per week. So this family is going to be paying $600 per week. $600 per week times 52 weeks divided by 12 months. That gives us a total of $2,600 per month. And that brings us to a total of $5,400 left to budget once we bring our rental. So straight away, we've removed $2,600 and we are left with $5,400. The next up on our budget is going to be utilities. So depending on the house that you end up living in, you may have a combination of gas and electricity, or you may just have electricity for your heating and cooking and everything else. So for this video, we're going to say it's going to be electricity plus gas. And I think for those gas canisters, it's usually the big ones, 45 kg. At the moment, it's currently on average, it will take you $140 to fill up one, and that usually lasts you an average of 2 months. And then your electricity will be anywhere from like 150 to 200, or yeah. So let's just say electricity plus gas per month will give us a total of $250. And then we go to things like Wi-Fi. So Wi-Fi on average at the moment will cost you $100 a month. Your water is going to cost you $50 a month. Yes, so your water is going to cost you $50 a month on average. And then for phones, you can actually get plans where you get unlimited calls within Australia and New Zealand. And then your data as well, that's included on those plans. And maybe you're actually paying for your mobile device on that plan. So for this family, we're going to say $150 for the 2 phones. Okay, so let's sum up the utilities. So electricity and gas would be $250, water would be $50, Wi-Fi would be $100, and then the phones will be $150. That gives us a total of $650 a month, and that will give us, if we deduct from our current $5,400, which takes us to $4,850 left to budget. Next up on our list, we are going to look at food, groceries. So groceries, including toiletries, this is another major cost. And obviously this is going to depend on your lifestyle and how much you're spending, or yeah. But at the moment, I can tell you, like, groceries are really expensive. It's really pricey. And depending on how strict you are on your budget and how good you are at shopping around and where you are shopping, because it also depends on the different shops. For this family, I have allocated a very strict budget of $250 per week for groceries. That gives us like $1,000 for groceries and toiletries and everything. But because we remember they have got an under 3 child, and that's going to be an extra for diapers, and I'm going to add a total of $1,200 for this family in the bracket category of groceries. So $1,200 a month. And then we're going to add in a little bit extra in that budget for eating out and entertainment. Because I know you're not going to be just stuck at home, like eating at home. So we're going to add $200 for those days where you go out with the family, you get ice cream at the park or something like that. We're going to add $200 to this budget. So that gives us $1,400 for groceries / eating out. And that takes us to $3,450 left to budget. Next up, we're going to talk transportation. So let's say this family have got a very small car because they're still living on a budget. So they've got a very low cost small car on a loan, and that loan is costing them $100 a week. And then we have partner number 2 who is also using public transportation, and they're swapping around depending on their needs. They just have one car at the moment. So public transportation at the moment, within Auckland, we do have what we call 80 hop cards. So you can load up your hop card to get into any trains or buses, and you can get around the city, and it's going to cost $50. They have a cap of $50 per week. So the maximum you can spend in a week is $50, regardless of how many trips you take or how many rides you take. So $50 a week, and we're going to times that by the 4 weeks, and that gives us $200 per month on public transportation, plus our $100 per week for our car loan. And then we're going to add fuel. Yes, we're going to add fuel. So fuel, we're going to allocate $50 a week because it's a small car. It might be a hybrid, so at least it's saving us on fuel. So we're going to allocate $50 a week on fuel. So we're going to allocate a total of $200. So this gives us a total for transportation of $800 per month. And that is going to take us to $2,650 left to budget. And then next up, we're going to talk about insurances. So for insurances, we didn't include car insurance with the transportation segment that we've just done above. So insurances, you're looking at things like your car. Yes, you definitely need insurance. And then you have health insurance. So for New Zealand, if you're generally on a long-term work visa, you're not on a visitor visa, it's government funded. So yeah, for this family, because we are on a very strict budget, we're not going to add any health insurances because we'll just go to the public. We just use the public health system. In the public health system, it does work, and you also get free prescriptions. If you have prescribed drugs for anything, it's free. You get that free. Or at most, the most you can pay at some pharmacies would be like $5 for your prescription. So for this family, we are not going to allocate anything to health insurance. And then you also have things like life insurance and then household contents insurance or anything like that. We're not going to allocate anything for this family at this stage. So we're just going to have a total of $150 allocated to insurance, and that covers your car insurance and a little bit maybe for savings in case of an emergency. In case we need it, we're just going to add that amount, but the total amount we're putting under insurances is $150. We're going to move on to daycare and school fees. So for government funded schools, education is free. You don't have to pay anything. So that covers child number 2. So child number 2 is covered. And though some schools, well, most schools will ask you for a donation per year, which depends on the school, and it can be anything from like $100 per year, $200 per year, but it's going to be very little money. I'm not going to include it in this budget. So for child number 2, they are covered. They are at a government school, so their education is free. Yes, so, and then for child number 1, who is under 3 and they're in kindergarten. The reason why I'm specifying like under 3, because they are in kindergarten. Primary school starts at 5 years in New Zealand. So your year 1 is going to be 5 years old. As soon as they turn their 5 years, they go to school, to primary school. And then if they are in kindergarten or in daycare, and they are under 0 to 3-year-olds, they do pay the full amount. But as soon as they are 3 and above, so 3 to 5, it's government funded. So part of that is government funded. So you can get up to 20 hours paid. And then you just need, if they are in full time, like if they are attending daycare full time, then you need to pay the rest of the 20 hours. So that's why I'm like specifying they're under 3. So obviously it's going to cost you more if the child is below 3, and then once they hit 3 years, at least it's going to be way, way, way less. It's going to be like half of the amount that you're going to be paying for your child's daycare or kindergarten. Yeah, so on average, this depends. Again, this depends on where you live. So yeah, this depends on where you live, and daycares do vary. But for this video, we are going to allocate. How much did we allocate to daycare? We did allocate $1,000 a month for daycare, but be aware that this is paid per week, so anything from $200 to $250 on average for under 3. But yes, daycare can get very, very expensive if they are in daycare full time. This depends on the number of hours that you're putting them in there. If they are full time, expect to pay even up to $400 a week, depending on where you live and how many hours your child is in daycare. You can expect to pay up to $400 a week in daycare. So for this video, we've allocated $1,000 a month for this. That does take us to a total of 1,500 New Zealand dollars balance. So just to recap, we have done our rentals, and we have done our utilities, and we have done transportation, insurances, and we have done groceries and eating out, and we have done daycare. Those, I think, are the main costs that you're going to encounter as a family. And for a family, we started off with 8,000 New Zealand dollars, and the balance at the moment is $1,500 left to spend. So this is the money that you have every month left to spend, and you can choose to do whatever you want with it. So you can either put it in your savings, or you can put that giving or any projects that you're doing, but it's $1,500 a month. And this is a very, very strict budget that I have worked on. Prices may vary depending on what rentals, you end up securing. $600 is being very optimistic. It's being very positive. The $600 per week that I put for this family, it's being very, optimistic, because be mindful that when you're coming into New Zealand and you're looking for accommodation, you might not have the luxury to wait out a few months, check out a few places. So you might end up in a rental that is really pricey, more pricey than the $600 a week that I've allocated. But yeah, so on average, that is how much it will cost. So up to you to answer the question. Do you think it's worth it? Do you think it's worth it to move to New Zealand based on the scenarios that I've put in? And obviously, if both partners are not working, that's a whole different scenario now, because we only have one salary, and we've just looked at the breakdown of all the costs. So you can tell that if you're just a one income household, things are really going to be tough. If both partners are working and both of them are above the minimum wage, that's obviously more income and more room to play around with your salary. And then obviously, if the family is bigger than the family of 4 that we've just used, depending on your situation, now you have an indication of how much it will cost you. I will also place in the description box a link to a cost of living calculator. There's an online calculator that you can play around, plug in some numbers on there, and see how much for your specific scenario, family situation, how much is it going to cost you. Just do a lot of research and see where you're comfortable living. Are you going to live close to your kids' schools? Are you going to live close to your employment? Things like that do make a difference in how much your total budget for a family ends up being. So we started off with a family of $8,000, bringing in $8,000 a month, and we had at the end of it all $1,500 dollars left to spare, but we did not include any savings, and we were very strict on the budget, and we did not include any insurances other than car insurance. And yeah, we were very strict on a lot of the items that I was putting. So depending on your situation, and if you do have black tax if you know, you know, and you're taking care of family back home, you do know, because $1,500, if you're coming from Zimbabwe, is going to be 850 US dollars. So depending on how much you send back home, you might be left with nothing. Or yeah, it gives you an indication of how much you're going to be left with at the end of it all. I hope this was a very informative video for you, and I do hope that you enjoyed it. And let me know in the comment sections below, like, do you think this is realistic? Do you think I was too strict? Do you think it will cost way more, or it does cost way less? What do you think? I'm interested to know your thoughts. And also, if you've made it to the end of this video, please do subscribe to my channel. It helps me to grow, and it motivates me to keep making videos for you guys. And do let me know what topics you want me to cover next. And until the next video, stay blessed.